Holmgang, Old Norse, Holmganga, Icelandic, Holmganga, Danish and Norwegian, Holmgang, Swedish, Holmgang, is a duel practiced by early medieval Scandinavians. It was a legally recognized way to settle disputes. The name Holmgang, literally home-going, may derive from the combatants dueling on a small island or holm, as they do in the saga of Egil Skallagrimsson. Alternatively, figuratively in reference to an arena. At least in theory, anyone offended could challenge the other party to Holmgang, regardless of their differences in social status. This could be a matter of honor, ownership or property, demand of restitution or debt, legal disagreement, or intention to help a wife or relative or avenge a friend. Holmgangs were fought 3 to 7 days after the challenge. If the person challenged did not turn up for the Holmgang, the other man was considered just in his challenge. If the offended party did not turn up for the Holmgang, they were deemed Neithinger and could have been sentenced to outlaw. In effect, if someone was unwilling or unable to defend their claim, they had no honor. Sometimes, a capable warrior volunteered to fight in the place of a clearly outclassed friend. The 13th century Vastgotalagen, Westergothic law, is a fragment from an unknown late Viking Age law document from Västergötland, Sweden, which stipulates the conditions for a type of judicial duel, either referring to Holmgang or einvigi, trial by combat. If someone speaks insults to another man, you're not the like of a man and not a man in your chest. I'm a man like you. They shall meet where 3 roads meet. If he who has spoken comes and not the insulted one, then he shall be as he's been called. No right to swear oaths, no right to bear witness, may it concern man or woman. If the insulted one comes and not he who has spoken, then he shall cry Neithinger 3 times and make a mark in the ground, and he is worse who spoke what he dared not keep. Now both meet fully armed. If the insulted one falls, the compensation is half a weregild. If he who has spoken falls, insults are the worst, the tongue the head's bane. He shall lie in a field of no compensation. If a man challenged another in any matter, and the one who had issued the challenge won the victory, then his due as victor was whatever the challenge had been made for. If he were defeated, he was obliged to ransom himself by an agreed sum. But if he fell in the duel, the fight lost him all his possessions, and the one who had killed him in the duel inherited from him. How many times the challenged actually gave in beforehand is unrecorded. First Holmgangs probably ended on the death or incapacitation of one combatant. Killing an opponent did not constitute a murder and therefore did not lead to outlawry or payment of weregild. Later rules turned Holmgang into a more ritualistic direction. Cormac Saga states that the Holmgang was fought on an ox hide or cloak, with sides that were 3 meters long. It was staked on the ground with stakes used just for that purpose, and placed in a specific manner now unknown. After that, the area was marked by drawing 3 borders around the square hide, each about 1 foot from the previous one. Corners of the outermost border were marked with hazel staves. Combatants had to fight inside these borders. Stepping out of borders meant forfeiture. Running away meant cowardice. There is a hint in Cormac Saga about the sacrifice of a bull before a Holmgang, whose hide was stretched and affixed to the ground on which the fight was to take place. But there are many references about the sacrifice the winner made after the victory. Combatants were permitted a specific number of shields, usually 3 they could use. The opponent's strikes could break a shield. The challenged would strike first, and then the combatants would hit each other in turn. The combat would normally end on the first blood, and the winner would receive 3 marks of silver. This represents mainly the later Icelandic version of Holmgang, which was intended to avoid unnecessary loss of life and excessive profiteering. Unless the dispute was about a specific property, the most the winner could receive was the 3 marks of silver. This represents mainly the later Icelandic version of Holmgang, which was intended to avoid unnecessary loss of life and excessive profiteering. Unless the dispute was about a specific property, the most the winner could receive was the 3 marks of silver. Professional duelists used holmgangs as a form of legalized robbery. They could claim rights to land, women, or property, and then prove their claims in the duel at the expense of the legitimate owner. Many sagas describe berserks who abused holmgang in this way. In large part due to such practices, holmgangs were outlawed in Iceland in 1006 as a result of the duel between Gunnlaugur Ormstunga and Hraf Onundarson, and in Norway in 1014.